Hi, my name is Jean Parker, and I'm an executive leadership coach. And I wanted to talk today about crisis, but from a positive perspective, and that is creativity through crisis. So before I go there, I just wanted to extend my heart out to you and hope everyone that is listening to this as well, and the people in your life are well as well. And I know that a lot of leaders right now are hunkering down. In a couple of ways. I've heard stories where some leaders are actually physically disappearing and their employees don't know what's going on, or other leaders that are hunkering down and making the really tough decisions that happen in times like this. And that's around layoffs and how to preserve the securities around how a company's going to run in the future. So in this place, I want to talk about creativity and see what its role here. And before I do that, I want to just say that I totally get where leaders are at right now. And I spent most of my career building organizations. And so those processes, I was doing lots of M&A work and consolidating industries. And I was involved in, for example, near the beginning of my career in GE, working in a situation where the Japanese were, basically dropping the prices in automotive. And I was in the automotive industry and part of it. And, there was a lot of, restrictive work there. And at one point, I even had a nickname, the Axe Lady. So I know the kind of work that's here and how hard it is. But I want you as leaders to think from another perspective. And that is, this is the CFO in me going, we have to preserve what we have, but we also have to build for the future. And the question is how do we do that through this? And it's interesting. I see myself both from the creativity side and as a CFO, and they're both elements of who I am. So hopefully some of what I share can have an impact and can help you through this and move through this. And I think the first thing we have to talk about is, at this stage as leaders, it really is about us being human first and taking care of yourselves and taking care of your people. And there's a line that Trudeau's been using that I like, and that is that everything's on the table, and everything is on the table here in terms of, but from a positive, like what can you do? There's no barriers anymore. The way business has been is no longer at this stage, and maybe different in the long run as well. So the question is how do you take care of yourself and your people in a way that will allow you to move forward? And so if we do it just from a place of scarcity, which is we have to hunker down, we have to preserve, that will create a fear in your people as well. And so the question is how do you show confidence that you're going to hold on for the long run, but you find the way that you can work in a space that allows your teams to feel like they're giving something, that they're contributing, that they're helping build their future as well. And so I really see this in the sadness that it is. It's also an absolute time of opportunity. And that is the way that you can actually preserve your company and help people who are in this place of fear, because we're all scared right now, right? So how can you take a piece of or part of their day and help them shift that? And it will help. It'll help create a shift. And that's really what I wanted to talk about here today. So how do we actually create that shift? Well, it is about, first of all, we have to engage everybody in this process. So this is not a time for a command and control leadership. This is a time for really engaging your employees and asking their ideas. There's not going to be one perfect idea here, right? So we need many ideas to create the change. And that's where the creativity and the collaboration and the impact of creativity with collaboration is massive. So, finding that way to shift and bringing your people into this, the boots on the ground, as I say, right? And find a way to do that as it has such a massive impact, and the ideas will be massive. And the other thing is that there's not one direction here. You're going to have to be prepared to take many ideas and try them out. Many iterations, many pilots, because that's the place. We're in a place of unknown. We're in a place of uncertainty, right? And as we can see in this last week, what we've all lived through, and I was talking to somebody yesterday, it felt like it was a year, not a week. So much changed every day. Well, that's how we're going to continue living. So how can you lead through that? And so I just look at, if we use the word uncertainty, it's a restrictive word and it'll hunker people down, right? If we say that it's a place of, positioning and opportunity and rebooting, and what can we do with that? And how can we take that collective power? It creates the big shift. And so a shift that just happened in this last week is, I don't know, what's the percentage? How many people are working from home now? We've shifted and created a remote world in a week. Okay. So even in there's this moment where every meeting is a new meeting now. Every interaction is a new interaction. So how do we create that? That's expansive for you and your company and your people, right? So a big part of this, and I've been going to some seminars and workshops to really focus in on this. And the biggest part that I'm hearing about remote work is that 80% of it is about the culture. 20% is about the tools and all the rest, but it's a culture. So how do you create this space where people are not going to come with fear, they're going to come with expansion? So we have to have trust, right? And you have to find a way to bring your culture alive online. And it's in the small things, from, a moment before a meeting, or, lunches you share together, or fun things you do, and then it expands into how do you do creative work? Because you have to get people in a space where they're actually ready to share ideas. And so this is where there's no limit now. Maybe you create a little game or whatever works in your culture and the dynamics. But you've got to see that creating remote work and bringing people alive remotely is really around the culture. So that's all I wanted to share today. And I want to wish you well. I want you also, one more thing. To make this work for you, you have to allow space as the leader to be able to breathe through this as well. So make sure you find that in your day, because even your home lives are different, right? We don't doing the things we did before, but find that place, because you need to come not from a place of constriction, but a place of openness and opportunity and strength and authenticity with your people. So the final thing I want to say is be well, everyone, and take care of yourselves.